and welcome to my channel. For this video, I'm going to be showing you how to make this adorable avocado plushie. This plushie is definitely on the easier side, so it's great for any beginner. And as always, the template for this plushie is free and can be found down below in the description box. So with all that being said, let's jump right into this tutorial. So after you finish cutting out all of your pieces, what you're going to do is take this light green piece and this green piece, and you're just going to place them right on top of each other. Make sure they're centered, like that. And then you're going to thread out your needle with some light green thread, and then you're going to sew from here all the way around back to there using the fell stitch to attach the two pieces together. If you don't know how to thread out your needle, seriously, don't worry about it. It's actually really easy, and I have a video for it, so I'll link that on the screen for you to go check out and learn how to do it. After threading and knotting your needle, the first stitch you're going to do is going to be through both pieces right here. And then you're going to pull all the way. And then the next stitch is going to be only through the green piece, like this. So it's like right where it meets the light green piece, but you're only going to put the sewing needle through the green piece. And then again, you'll pull. And there you go. The fell stitch is really that easy. This stitch is super easy, and that's really all that's to it. So to do that again, you'll just make a stitch over here and pull, and then up here and pull, and one more time, make a stitch like that, and then up here. After you finish sewing these two pieces together, you're going to turn it around to the back and then just make a few knots back here. And it really doesn't matter how messy these knots are because you're not going to see it when the plush is complete. As you can see, I put the knot at the beginning and also the end of the thread in the inside of the plush so that you won't see it when the plush is complete. You know, you want to try and hide the knots as much as possible when making a plushie, so they're all on this side. And then if you run out of thread and you aren't able to, sew the whole piece together in one strand of thread, that's actually no problem in using the fell stitch like this because you can just knot it and restart with another piece of thread, which is actually what I did right here. You can see I went to here, knotted it, rethreaded, and continued sewing to here. And all those knots aren't seen on this side. So you can rethread and knot your needle as many times as you want when using the fell stitch. It really doesn't impact how the plushie is going to look. So anyway, I'm just going to take some scissors and cut the thread right here. And then we can move this out of the way. And now what you're going to do is thread and knot your needle with some copper thread, and then you're going to sew this piece right here. And again, you're going to use the fell stitch. When you sew the pit onto the avocado, try to center it so that this side and this side are about the same length. And then from here to the bottom of the light green piece, it's about 1/4 of an inch. So just to show you, it's about 1/4 of an inch. Now you're going to take one of those dark green pieces and you're just going to place these two pieces right on top of each other. And again, you're going to try and center them as best you can. Then you're going to thread and knot your needle with some green thread that matches this green piece in the middle right here. So I'm going to be using this green thread, and you're just going to use the fell stitch again and sew all the way around to attach this green piece onto this dark green piece. So I just want to share some tips with you guys on how to make your stitches look a little bit cleaner on your avocado plushies. And the first tip I want to go over is when you're sewing on the green piece onto the dark green piece, try to make those stitches in line with the stitches that you had done on the light green piece. And by that I mean, see how the stitch here on the light green piece is basically in line with the stitch up here on the green piece. And then again, these two stitches are in line, and then again, these two are in line, and then so on. Just doing that helps make the stitches look a lot cleaner. So I didn't make all the stitches completely in line. The stitches down here and then up here were not all in line, and it's simply because this green piece is larger than this light green piece, so it's a bit hard to make all the stitches, exactly in line, but trying to make as many of the stitches as you can in line does help make the plush look a lot cleaner. My next tip for you guys is to try and make the length of each stitch about the same, and then also to try and make the distance of each stitch about the same. And trying to make the stitches as consistent as you possibly can really helps make them look a lot cleaner. At this point, I'm going to be attaching the black plastic safety eyes onto the plushie, and if you're not going to be adding these onto your plushie, you can just simply skip these next few steps. If you are going to be attaching the black plastic safety eyes onto your plushie, the first thing you're going to do is place the eyes, cheeks, and mouth onto this piece exactly how you want it to look when the plush is complete. After you've arranged all these pieces on the avocado, the next thing you're going to do is remove one of the eyes and then take a marker and just make a dot where that eye was. And then do the same thing over here. Next, you're going to take this piece and fold it in half. Take some scissors and make a small cut where each of those marks are. And then you're going to take your marker again and press right here, and then also over here. And you're going to want to press pretty hard down so that it'll bleed through to the other side. Oh, I didn't press hard enough. Since the marker didn't bleed through, I'm going to try and use a different marker, and this is a fine point Sharpie. So I'm just going to take off the cap and again press down here and then press down over here. And then there you go. See the little dots here and here? The marker will probably bleed through onto your work surface, so make sure you have a poster board or a piece of paper or something that you don't mind getting these two black dots on. Now you're going to take some scissors and cut a hole where each of those marks are, and you're going to want to cut the hole through this dark green piece and also through the green piece in the middle. So now that you have a hole cut out through all three of those pieces where each of those marks were, we can now attach the black plastic safety eye. So you're just going to take it and put it through one of the holes like that, turn it around, take the backing, and just press it on. And then you'll attach the other black plastic safety eye the exact same way. After attaching the black plastic safety eyes onto your piece, this is what it's going to look like. And then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to take this dark green piece and just place the two pieces right on top of each other. Next, you're going to thread a knot your needle with some dark green thread that matches the dark green material, and you're going to start sewing the two dark green pieces together using the blanket stitch. So to do the blanket stitch, what you're going to do is pull back this front piece and then make your first stitch only through the back piece like this. And then you're going to pull all the way. And then you're going to take that front piece and put it back where it was so that it covers the knot and you won't see it when the plush is complete. And then you're going to take your sewing needle and you're going to make a stitch through both pieces and come back through where you made that first stitch. So see, this is where the first stitch was. You're coming back through right by it. See that? And then you'll pull, but before pulling all the way, you'll take your sewing needle and go through this loop right here, and then pull all the way. And then to do another stitch, you'll just take your sewing needle and go through both pieces, pull, go through the loop, pull all the way. And then again, make a stitch, pull, go through the loop, pull all the way. And just like I said before, try to make the stitches on the dark green piece in line with the stitches on the green piece and also the stitches on the light green piece. Having these 3 stitches all in line really helps make the plush look a lot cleaner overall. So now you can keep using the blanket stitch and sewing the 2 dark green pieces together from here all the way around to here. And you're going to stop up here so you can add on a piece of ribbon. So you're just going to take some ribbon, and you really don't need that much, and you're just going to fold it around so that it'll make like a loop over here. And I like to take some tape and put it on the bottom of the ribbon just to hold it in place. And then you can cut off the excess tape on the bottom right here. Then you can take the ribbon and put it in between the 2 dark green pieces. Just like that. To attach the ribbon in between the plush, you're going to make a stitch through both pieces of material and also the ribbon, like that. And then you'll pull, but you're not going to pull all the way, just pull a little bit. And then make a stitch only through the ribbon, like that. Pull, and then go through that loop and pull all the way. And then to do that again, you'll make a stitch, go through just the ribbon, pull, go through the loop, pull all the way. And then continue using the blanket stitch over here. Before sewing the plush completely closed, you're going to fill it up with some fiber fill stuffing. Pretty recently, I got a comment from someone asking, how do you hide the knots on your plushies, especially the knots that are going to be on the outside of the plush? And I just want to take a moment in this video to answer that question and give you guys some tips and tricks on how to improve your plushies. Sometimes it's actually very easy to hide the knots on the inside of your plush, like when using the fell stitch to sew all these pieces together. As you can see, none of the knots are seen on the outside. They were all very easily able to be put on the inside. But unfortunately, not all knots are going to be like that. Some knots you're going to have to make on the outside. And to give an example of that, it's the knot we're going to have to be making right now on the plushie. So as you can see, after doing the blanket stitch all the way around, you're left with the thread over here, and you're going to have to make a knot to be able to, hold everything in place and finish your plush. This knot is going to have to be made on the outside. The plush is complete, and there's no way to get the knot on the inside. So how do you hide it as best as you possibly can? To answer this question, my first word of advice is to try and thread and knot your needle with a piece of thread that's long enough to sew all the way around the plush. And the reason for that is because every time you have to re-thread and knot your needle, you're going to be forced to put another knot on your plush that's going to be seen. The more times you're going to have to re-thread and knot your needle, the more knots you're going to see on your plushie. So you're going to want to try and minimize that as much as possible. The next bit of advice is try not to make the knots on the front of the plush. Make the knots on the back. There's no reason you should be making them on the front. You don't want to see them on the front, so make them on the back where they're going to be hidden. Next, I only recommend making 2 or 3 knots because the more knots you make, the bigger the knot's going to be and the harder it's going to be to hide it. So I'm only going to make a few knots back here. So I'll make 1, and then I'll make 2, and 2 is probably good enough, so I'm going to leave it like that. Next, to hide the knot even better, you're going to take your sewing needle and make a stitch right around where the knot is through the material, and then come back through somewhere else on the plush, and then pull your sewing needle and pull it real tight so it kind of pulls the knot into the plush. And then you're going to take your scissors and just cut the thread. So those are some of my tips and tricks on how to hide knots in your plushies. And as you can see, the knot is still seen a bit on the back, but you can't see it at all on the front, which is where I think it matters most. The last step to making your avocado plushie is to glue in the mouth and the cheeks. And just to let you guys know, I'm going to be using tacky glue to glue on these pieces. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please be sure to go check out my channel since it's filled with so many other plushie tutorials just like this one. Also, if you have any future video suggestions, make sure to leave them down in the comments. I always love hearing from you guys. Anyway, that's all I have for this video. Thank you for being here, supporting my channel, and I'll see you in the next one.